Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about what to do when you are not getting texts back efficiently from a dismissive avoidant attachment style individual. So this comes up all the time. This comes up in our live weekly webinars that we do. This comes up in client sessions historically for years that I've been doing. It's a huge pattern and it's a big question that I get often. So in this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to tweak our positioning in a text message conversation so that we can really be aware of how we should approach this type of situation, specifically when it's with a dismissive avoidant. Before I dive into this, we are doing our Boxing Week sale. You can use the coupon code BW30, and this gives you 30% off of our lifetime memberships right now, which is a sale we won't be running probably until this time next year again. 30% off our membership bundles. And in those membership bundles, you get access to everything. You get access to all of our 40 previously recorded courses, our collaboration collection. You get access to our chat channels, our 4 live weekly webinars, and our trained attachment coach run sort of mini workshops, mastermind groups, morning and evening routines, all these different things for community. And you have a full money back guarantee. So if you go in and you don't like it, or you're not like super happy with it, then we are so happy to be able to offer you that back, because we've had really, really amazing responses to everybody coming in. So we feel really comfortable doing that. So okay, let's talk about this topic here. And by the way, I'll put a link in the description box below for that. So, this is a huge thing that people go through all the time, right? They experience feeling like, I'm reaching out, I want to text back, and I'm getting, these subpar replies according to what I need. And here's what people tend to do next. And this is a massive pattern. It doesn't matter what your attachment style is, whether it's, well, usually it's anxious and fearful avoidant who respond this way, especially if the FA is leaning anxious. Usually the person goes, what do I have to do or become in order to get those texts back frequently from that person? And that is, in and of itself, that line of thinking is a massive form of self-abandonment. Because what you just did, the moment you started thinking on that line, on that trajectory, you started going, I'm going to abandon myself. I'm going to tweak myself to become this people-pleasing version of myself to try to reel this person in and get connection. And if you had somebody outside of you, a friend, telling you to do that, you would feel like that person's completely diminishing you. Like, oh, you just need to change who you are and how you act so that you can get somebody to like you. You just need to pretend you're somebody else. Like, that wouldn't go over very well, right? That would be hurtful if a friend did that. So why do we do that in the relationship to ourselves? And the pivot that we want to make when we're in this dynamic or situation is, what do I need as a person? What fulfills me in this situation? How much texting back and forth do I think is a fair standard to have in a relationship? And number one, we have to define that standard in the relationship to ourselves. So as opposed to meeting somebody, being interested in them, and then trying to run around changing ourselves to fit into their lives, we are clear on what we want. We're clear on our standards. We can have that conversation if necessary. Or we can just show up and go, like, this is what I'm expecting in this relationship dynamic. Let ourselves know that. And if our buckets aren't being filled, if our boxes aren't being checked by this interaction, then we don't abandon ourselves to get a solution. We communicate our standards to get a solution. And I want people to be clear that this is a really important part of the dating phase. The dating phase requires being clear on our intentions, being clear on our standards for what we expect in a dynamic or interaction, and then having the courage in a way and belief in who we are and how we show up and what we bring to the table to be able to just say, hey, I notice that we text once a week or twice a week, and I get a lot out of texting. I'd prefer to check in daily or close to that. How do you feel about that? And are you able to do that? That's going to be something that's important to me as I'm getting to know somebody. And so we have to be able to position ourselves where we feel safe and worthy enough to communicate our needs. And the dating phase of a relationship is the vetting phase of a relationship. It's the time to understand if somebody's a good fit for you in that dynamic. And so what we have to be able to do is communicate, share where we're coming from, share what our needs are, hear somebody else and their perspective, facilitate that open channel of communication around normalizing communicating needs. And in doing this, we get to see, is this going to be a fit? We rob ourselves of the ability to decipher if something's going to be a fit in a relationship when we repress our needs, pretend to be somebody other than we're not, or get into people pleasing mode to try to gain worth and attention, thinking that we'll show ourselves later. And so the reason I really wanted to highlight this in this particular video is this is a big pattern. The people who ask me this question, oh, how do I make sure what do I do when I'm not getting texted back enough? How do I make sure I get a response? The people asking me this question almost always have a pattern first of self-abandonment and people pleasing, trying to gain somebody's attention from the outside in instead of getting clear on who they are, what they want from the inside out, and having the confidence and self-worth to be able to communicate that and show up to support themselves in that. And then if somebody doesn't want to text, and check in a reasonable basis according to your needs, and they're not willing to compromise or put effort in, you can bet that if you're seeing this in the dating phase, it's not going to get better in the future phases. It's just going to be more of these patterns across the boards in different forms. And if we don't have people who are willing to collaborate, connect, partner, give and take in a relationship, especially early on in these phases where the neurochemistry is high and all these different things, then you're probably going to keep running into this problem later. And so we have to honor ourselves and our standards in this phase of a relationship, irrespective of what we're afraid of happening. And we want to be courageous enough to overcome those fears and realize, if I abandon myself, the other person's going to end up not fulfilling me anyways, because I'm always coming in with a tank half empty. And that actually at a subconscious level also blocks me from receiving. If we have a chronic state of self-abandonment, that becomes a subconscious comfort zone. And as a byproduct of that, guess what happens? Our subconscious mind, because it wants familiarity, because familiarity equals safety and survival, in it wanting familiarity, what it ends up doing is it blocks people being too connected, people being too close. The subconscious comfort zone is self-abandonment and abandonment as a whole. And so we don't want too much closeness from others at the subconscious level. We block it, we sabotage it, we push people away, we get interested in people who will keep our subconscious comfort zone alive, which takes the ability to feel fulfilled in relationships out of the mix. And so this is a really important principle to address. So what you're going to see over the next little while here, especially as I go into January, because I had a lot of requests around this, is a whole bunch of texts, what to do around different text situations in a series. And so we'll be talking about a whole bunch of different topics around different texts, what they come in, and how we can pivot our mindset in relationship to texting, communicating, what our needs are, etc., so that we can feel a lot safer, clearer, and just more like empowered in our communication dynamics and interactions with people. And we'll talk about how these apply in the different phases of a relationship. So dating, honeymoon, power struggle, etc. So let me know any type of specific ones you would like to see in the comments below. And thank you so much for being here and for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.